Hey friends, how's everyone doing today? Hope you're all having an amazing day so far. Tamie M coming to you from TamieMCoaching.com. And what I want to talk to you about today is how we can heal from narcissistic abuse. How do we heal from narcissistic abuse? So that is what we are going to dive into today. But before we get started, if we haven't met before, I'll take a quick moment to properly introduce myself. Once again, my name is Tamie M. I am an empowerment coach for women. I help women break free from painful relationship patterns through a proven 8-week process called the Freedom Class. And if you'd like some information on that, you can drop me a comment, send me a private message, and I'd be happy to give you some info, have a little chat with you, or you can just go on over to TamieMCoaching.com. All the details on the program are there, and at the bottom of the page, there's a link to book a free strategy call with me. So, how do we heal from narcissistic abuse? That's a big subject. I truly could sit here for the next, I don't know how many hours and discuss that because there's a lot to it, right? There's a lot to it. These are not black and white issues like I say all the time. These things are multifaceted and multi-layered, but I want to keep it succinct for you today, which is actually not my strong suit, but I do want to make an attempt to keep it succinct and give you some things that you just want to hone in and focus on so that you can start to feel better about yourself, about your life, and start to make some forward progress. So I've honed it down to 4 points, 4 things that you want to focus on when it comes to healing from narcissistic abuse. So first and foremost, this is going to sound a little obvious. It's going to sound like a bit of a no-brainer, but you wouldn't believe the kind of conversations I have week in and week out where this is one of the first things I have to address with ladies that I'm talking to on a daily basis. Understandably so. Perfectly understandable. First and foremost, point number 1, do whatever you need to do to stop the abuse. Do whatever you need to do to stop the abuse in the sense of stop engaging with the destructive narcissist. Do whatever you can, whatever you're able to do to stop engaging with the destructive narcissist. How do we heal from narcissistic abuse? First and foremost, stop allowing ourselves to be abused. Now, like I said, that can kind of sound like a no-brainer, but when, the kind of conversations I have on a regular basis, it's actually not that obvious because more often than not, as untreated codependents, as people who are fully love addicted, as women who are married to these men and have 3, 4, 5 little babies in their charge, it's not so simple and it's not so black and white. Sometimes we're talking about our parents, sometimes we're talking about our siblings. It's not so easy to just cut these people off. I know that can be very difficult and excruciatingly painful. But here's the thing. If we want to heal from narcissistic abuse, we have to find a way. If we're not able immediately to go full-blown no contact, we have to find a way to insulate ourselves and protect ourselves from the abuse. Now, there's many, many things that I could suggest to you in that regard, but like I said, I'm going to try and keep it succinct. Here's the reason this is the number 1 point I want to make today. This is how I explain it to, the ladies that I chat with on a regular basis. They want healing from narcissistic abuse, but they aren't ready and or able to disengage from the abuser. So what they're really hoping to do is be able to turn themselves into a pretzel somehow. If I could just coach them on how they could be more of this, less of that. If only I said this or could do this differently or could be, if I lost 20 pounds, if I could be more fit, if I were more this, less of that, turned myself into a pretzel enough, then maybe that would stop the abuse. And it doesn't work that way. No matter what you do, if you're dealing with a destructive narcissist in any area of your life, they will perpetually raise the bar. They have an agenda by virtue of the way that they are wired and operate in their maladaptive and dysfunctional ways in the world, and with you primarily, they have an agenda to not be satisfied with you. So there is really nothing that you can do that will ever be good enough. So trying to heal from narcissistic abuse while remaining engaged with the destructive narcissist is like going to the hospital for a head wound, to have the head wound treated while you're still hitting yourself over the head with a hammer. So imagine you have a head wound and you're walking into the hospital and you're hitting yourself over the hammer and asking the doctors and nurses to treat your head wound. Needless to say, the healing process is going to be somewhat hampered, right? Trying to heal from narcissistic abuse while still engaged, fully engaged with the destructive narcissist is the very same thing. Very same thing. Number 2. Let me take a sip of water here before we continue. I see we've got a whole bunch of friends on. Thanks for joining. Do me a favor, guys. Drop me a 1 if you're catching the broadcast live. Drop a 2 in the comments if you're catching the replay. And if you're new to my live broadcast, let me know where you're coming in from. Let me know that you're new. I'm stumbling over my words here today. Let me know you're new and let me know where you're coming in from so I can reach out and say hello. So, number 2. How to heal from narcissistic abuse. Get yourself into codependency and or adult-child recovery. For real. Understand that if you are engaged with a destructive narcissist in any area of your life, especially romantically, but any area of your life, and that's not working out very well for you, you have untreated codependency. And quite possibly, because one goes hand in hand with the other, you have some adult child of something, trauma or issues that need to be addressed. So get yourself into some form of recovery program for codependency or adult children of alcoholism, adult children of narcissistic parents, adult children of trauma, adult children of sexual abuse, adult children of incest. There is all kinds of help available out there for adult children of trauma is what it fundamentally boils down to, as well as codependency recovery, happening in church basements every day for free all over the world. So there's no excuse for not getting ourselves into codependency recovery. We can start that journey and it doesn't cost us a dime and it can be very powerful and very effective. It's about taking our focus off of them because we are so compulsively focused on them that we forget about us. Who's taking care of us? Well, we are compulsively focused on them and what they're doing and not doing and saying and not saying and all the drama of it all and all the chaos of it all and, you know, engaging in these Facebook groups, and which can be a source of support, but, you know, be cautious about being in these groups and just focusing, staring at the problem without considering the solution. Being in these online forums where we're just completely compulsively focused on them and understanding all the minutia, all the details of what's wrong with them without taking care of us. So codependency recovery is about taking the focus off of them and putting it on us. Starting to love us, starting to take care of us, starting to understand that if I'm engaged with this destructive narcissist in any area of my life, what's going on with me that I'm in the room with that to begin with? Because I promise you there's something. It's not just them. We are a match to it if that's what we are doing. So the solution is to take the focus off of them. Not easy to do, I understand, but you can do it. One day at a time, one moment at a time, one episode at a time, one, you know, mean-spirited comment at a time. We practice taking the focus off of them and putting it onto us and our healing and our recovery. Huge piece of the puzzle. Huge piece of the puzzle. Number 3, actively work to heal your past wounds. Actively work to heal your past wounds. There are many, many, many ways to do this. Many ways to do this. I do some very interesting work in the Freedom class in the way of energy, psychology. There's a whole bunch of things that we do in the 8-week transformational program. A whole bunch of things. There are so many ways for us to go about getting about the business of healing our wounds, our own issues. Again, take the focus off of them, get into dealing with our stuff. It's very uncomfortably comfortable to be focused on everything that's wrong with them, right? It's not comfortable, let's be honest, but it's a whole lot more comfortable than putting the focus on us. No one likes to have a light shone on them. I get it. It can be extremely uncomfortable. But if you want to heal and you want to be free and you want to find your way to a peaceful, happy, productive, fulfilled, peaceful, happy, healthy life, it's a must. It's a must. There are so many ways to go about this, beginning with the second point that I made in terms of getting yourself into some sort of codependency and or adult child recovery program, but take it to another level. I myself worked with a number of different therapists over the years, some better than others. Some had a clue as to what it was that I was dealing with. Some had no clue. So seek out someone who actually specializes in the issues that you're addressing. It's not because they're, an actual psychotherapist that they understand narcissistic abuse, adult child recovery, the issues of an untreated codependent. So seek out someone who specializes. But psychotherapy has a place. It's, in terms of healing our issues. I worked with a number of coaches over the years. I personally always got a whole lot more out of the coaches that I worked with than the therapists, but I did work with some really good therapists as well. They came at it from different angles. When we're in recovery, we can seek out really good sponsorship. That can be really helpful to add to our support system while we're healing ourselves. I personally went away to a treatment center, not once, but twice, to go through an intensive 2-week-long program called a family program, specifically designed for folks who have been affected by the family disease of alcoholism. So this program is offered in treatment centers all over North America. This much I know. Anywhere else, I'm not so sure, but certainly all over North America. The family program in a treatment center, which focuses on healing the issues of having grown up in that type of dysfunction. I went through that program not once but twice. Intense group therapy, specifically designed to help me open up and heal. There are so many things available to us today. Actively seek out what it is that you are called to. Trust your inner guidance. Ask for help and guidance, to be led to what you need to heal what's going on with you, so that you are no longer a vibrational match to what is narcissistic abuse. It's the only way out, my friends. And number four, a big piece to the puzzle that so many people miss. So many people miss. And I go into this in the freedom class because it is so important. It was such a huge important part of my fully stepping into my power and, really taking my healing to a whole other level and really taking my self-care to a whole other level. Number 4 is begin to understand your highly empathic nature and begin to take care of yourself in that regard. Understand that if you are engaged with a destructive narcissist, or if you're someone who's attracting them in every area of your life and you're like, what the hell? Chances are really good you're a full-blown empath, or at the very least high on the spectrum of high empathy, of being a sensitive person. And this, although society doesn't recognize it as such, is actually a very good thing. It is a gift once we understand this aspect of ourselves and we know how to take care of ourselves in this regard. So begin to learn about and understand your high empathy nature if you want to heal from narcissistic abuse. Begin to learn what that means and how to take care of yourself in that regard. Some of the things that I would recommend: avoiding crowds, avoiding toxic people, Avoid them. Just start avoiding them, sidestepping them. Spend more time in nature. Spending more time in nature, you got to admit, that feeds your soul and shifts you. Spend more time in nature. Make sure you're getting enough rest. Stop running yourself ragged. Stop putting so much pressure on yourself with these crazy high expectations and running yourself ragged. Honor and care for yourself enough, nurture yourself, love yourself enough to be willing to nurture yourself and make sure that you get the rest that you need so that you are fully functional. Respect yourself enough to get the rest that you need. Cultivate a daily ritual of grounding, shielding, and meditating. Grounding yourself, shielding yourself energetically, and meditating, getting still. And one of my all-time favorites, if you are a highly empathic person, which if you're tuning into this, chances are really good you are, salt baths every day. Soak in a salt bath, a pound of salt, literally a pound of salt, 3 full cups of salt. The purest, cleanest salt you can get your hands on. If all you can do is Epsom salt from the pharmacy, that's a whole lot better than not. But I like to buy 10 kilogram bags from my health food store, gray coarse salt, clean, pure, a pound of that in a tub, soak for a minimum of 20 minutes and start doing that on a daily basis. And then tell me how you feel after probably the first time. But certainly after a week or 2 or 3, you'll feel like a new person. It cleanses your energetic force field. As a highly empathic person who has been narcissistically abused, who is still exposing herself or himself to toxic, destructive people, who hasn't quite yet learned to take care of themselves as well as they should be. Maybe that's challenging because, again, you have 3, 4, or 5 kids in your charge, but you need to take care of you in order to really be able to take care of them. So give it a shot. Try it. What do you have to lose? Guys, that is in a nutshell. Like I said, I could talk about this for hours and hours and hours because it's a huge subject. It's a huge, huge subject. I have clients who go through the freedom class over an 8-week period, come out the other end feeling like a whole new person and love it so much they want more and come back and go through it again. Not because they didn't experience massive shifts going through it the first time, but because there's always another layer. There's always another level. There's always another layer to heal and another level to grow through. So it is a huge, huge subject. But in a nutshell, if you're looking to heal from narcissistic abuse, whatever that looks like for you, that's your family of origin, your romantic life, people you're dealing with in your professional life, friends you've picked up along the way, whatever it is, these are the 4 things that you want to focus on. Take your focus off of them. They don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. They don't deserve all that energy and attention that they literally are sucking the lifeblood out of you as you focus on them. Take it off of them and bring it into the solution for you. These 4 things will change your life. If you have any questions, if anything I said raised any questions, feel free to drop me a comment or send me a private message. If you'd like some information on the Freedom Class, you can always go to TamieMCoaching.com. There's all the deets are there, and there's a link at the bottom of the page to book a free strategy call with me. And thank you, friends, for hopping on. I appreciate all of you. Much love to you. And with that, I will call it a wrap. Hope you got some value out of this today. Don't forget to like, comment, and or share. Don't forget to like, comment, and or share if you got some value. And as always, I'll leave you with this. Know your value. Know your value and unlock your freedom. Mwah. Much love. Bye for now.